Hey guys, this is Combatant5, and we're back finally with Kerbal Space Program. So basically what we're going to be doing today is we're going to start a new series. I'm just kind of abandoning the old one because I've been, well, basically sick for 2 weeks, and I lost my voice, couldn't do any recording. That's why I couldn't get anything done for a few weeks. And then I got busy doing other things. I actually finished my written test for my pilot's license, so that was a nice thing. But we're going to start something called Real Space Program, and we're going to be using a few mods here. We're going to use the Deadly Reentry mod, and we're also going to use we're going to use Farram Aerospace, which is, a little more than better drag models, better aerodynamics, whatnot. And we're going to use Remotetech, and lastly, we are going to use the lovely realistic parachutes mod. So you can see we've already got something in space. I launched this in a previous attempt to record, and I actually ran out of disk space. I got BioShock Infinite here recently, so if you guys ever want to see me play that, I will happily play it for you. Yeah, I basically had to delete a bunch of stuff, and I lost, everything. You can see here we're using Remotetech. Got all the stuff for it here. That red dot is the Space Center, just in case anybody's wondering. So basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to come around here, and you can see we have no power there, and we have no power there. So normally we would be in contact right about now, right? I don't know. Hang on just a second. Let me time warp here. Time warping. And we time warp around, and we're finally over the horizon. And yeah, we have no contact. So basically, because we're out of power, we have no contact. Despite the fact, if you look down, we are literally right over the ocean to the east of the Space Center. We do have line of sight communications. So basically, we lost contact with the ship, right? So we're going to go back to the Space Center. We're actually going to launch our first comm satellite. So basically, we're going to launch a constellation of 4 comm satellites into geosynchronous orbit, kerbosynchronous orbit, excuse me. They're going to be semi-synchronous orbits at, pretty much almost geosynchronous altitude. And hopefully this will allow us, by using these 4 satellites of this COMSAT Mark 1 variety, you can see we've got this, and I'm going to change these fins around. I haven't quite figured out what fins to use in testing this mod. So if any of you guys actually know anything about Farram Aerospace, I would really like you to just let me know what I'm doing here. I really have literally no clue, so here's what I'm going to use. I'm going to use these tail fins here. And I don't think, I don't need any, no, I don't need any control surfaces on them, I think. I shouldn't, at least, because I've got thrust vectoring. Besides, I can't get them to work anyways. Okay. Anyways, my point being is we're going to launch these, and I'm going to try here, once you get on the pad, and show you the vehicle. But basically, it's just a big dish attached to a probe core and little more than a few solar panels and some batteries, so that we've got round-the-clock coverage of the entirety of Kerbin orbit. But we're going to try and get this done here, and try and get this into orbit is what I mean by that. Now, previous launches have been somewhat difficult to me. I've had quite a bit of trouble controlling the vehicle, as you'll probably see here. But this is not exactly the most fun thing to launch with. Is any of this. As we wait for this to load up. But anyways, so basically we're going to just be trying to set up a Kerbin-wide communication system first up. I've got to figure out what we're going to do after that, but I'm thinking that we're going to try and get a man into orbit, and then we'll work in deadly reentry. At current, we don't have really any need for deadly reentry at all, because nothing's going to be reentering. These are just COMSATs. But, we'll give this a shot here at some point. Once I show you guys, well, I don't remember what I did that for. Yes, I am narrating this in post-production. Oh, that's right, I forgot about that. I'd messed up the staging when I did this, but anyways, yes, I am doing this in post-production because I was doing it in pre-production, well, during actual recording, but again, I ran out of battery power at the end, which actually I haven't mentioned before, so I'm just going to mention it now. But yeah, I lost my battery on my computer because, well, virtually lost it. I got the 7% or 12 minutes thing right after I finished and hit the F10 key to record or finish recording this. But as you can see, we've finally gotten this thing in the air. We fixed the staging, so none of these future launches will have any issue. So we're climbing up. It's not climbing very well. Not sure if that's because the fairing is slightly larger than the actual rocket. I'm not sure. You can see though we are climbing. Apparently there's no stalling detected, and I think I tried to figure out what all this stuff was. Yeah, a lot of that was Greek to me, and I'm a pilot. I know that you guys probably don't know what it is either, unless you actually go through the help, which there is a help button down there. I really need to sit down this weekend and figure out some more stuff with this. It's a little bit weird, but you can see we're drifting a little bit in the direction that I don't want to drift, and I'm trying to correct it. I'm not sure quite what's causing that. So you can see I messed with this while I should have been flying the rocket. And yeah, we've got all this crap. There's a lot of stuff to Farram Aerospace that I just don't understand. But I'll figure it out eventually for you guys. And I'll be able to show you some cool stuff with it. Probably do a few tutorials with it. See here that we're at 18,000, and I'm trying desperately to start a gravity turn, but I can't. I think part of the problem that I have is that maybe I don't need stabilization fins on it. I'm going to try one without them, and I'll get back to you guys on that, but basically what I'm saying is that it handles like crap. It does not want to turn at all. So we're going to finish this gravity turn, and well, it's not really a gravity turn at this point. It's more me trying not to crash the rocket. But you can see we got stage separation, and we're climbing and nosing it over to basically 0 degrees inclination relative to the horizon. We're already plenty high. So we're going to put a maneuver node, and we're going to try and get it relatively circular. We'll go ahead and pop those off. Before we get out of range here, I also want to get this dish out. And I actually did manage to do that. Now, part of the problem that I'm going to have looking back at this is that those solar panels are going to produce waste heat for 3 hours out of the day. Probably need to figure out how to fix that problem in the future, but you can see just retargeting the dish so that it's talking to the Space Center, since our dipole antenna, which I have on there as well, to control it during launch, is going to run out very shortly. And there's burn for circularization. See, we're still not behind the horizon, and I messed something up there. Try to fix that, and you can see down in the bottom right hand corner that I'm just about out of battery power, and I noticed that right about then. So at this point I've decided, okay, we're just going to stick this in a stable storage orbit. And that was all I did in this episode of Real Space Program. So that's that. I'm Combatant 5, and thank you very much for watching this.